Do you know what time it is? Do you? List of crazy in our modern day things that the Romans did back in the day when it came to sexuality. Keeping in mind that when looking at ancient civilizations, it's very easy to look through them from a modern point of view. But we need to be objective. I'm going to try to be objective and try to appreciate that these people back in the day did not see them as terrible acts or whatever, you know? The one on the list is that the fact that Roman sex ran on slavery. The Roman Empire ran on slavery. And it did not matter how old you were basically seen as a piece of furniture if you were a slave. The thing is, right, is like a lot of people might think, why bring this up? Why talk about this? It's in the past. But the facts are, is that if we do not learn from history, we will not learn. And you look at like 200 years ago in the United States of America, there was slavery, and I'm sure this practice was taking place as well. And if we don't learn from history, if we don't talk about it, then we repeat the same mistakes. And that is my disclaimer for the reason as to why I'm talking about this. So, you know, doing whatever you want to a coffee table, it's an inanimate object. It doesn't mean anything. That's the view that the Romans had of their slaves. It was crazy. Even in like trying to remain objective, it's like I can't remain objective on slavery. So the sex slavery that took place was common, extremely common. No matter the age of the person, young children were sold into slavery. It's so sad. The lives that these people lived must have just been horrifying. Slaves came from military conquests, so they overtook a lot of places, and then the slaves would be shipped all over the country, auctioned off. They were basically an asset, just like a house or a car, you know, that's how they were viewed. The thing is that people were purchased by aristocrats for the purpose of sex slavery. So some slaves were purchased for particular jobs, particular housekeeping, you know, hard work, labor-intensive work, whatever. And then there were people that were purchased for sexual reasons. Often they would be young, because that was the beauty standards of the day, I suppose you would say. So in 31 BCE, Augustus, the emperor, outlawed adultery. So it was illegal to have an affair. However, the slaves were not considered humans. So having an affair with your bookcase was not an affair. And that's exactly how the slaves were perceived. And this really ramped up the sex slavery market, I suppose, because the aristocrats could not go to another aristocrat's wife and satisfy the affair that they wanted to have. But basically them having sex with slaves was not considered adultery because slaves were not recognized as human beings. Does that not make you sick? Just like how artifact the Warren cup, a Roman vase depicts a Roman aristocrat molesting a young child. Moving on from this absolutely horrific topic, number 2, public pornography. Penises were everywhere. Like every living surface in ancient Rome was covered with phalluses. And if you do not believe me, one of the coins from ancient Rome is literally depicting sodomy. Anal. So, like, imagine your prime minister or your, like, president or whatever being like, hey guys, we need to update the currency. Let's put a picture of someone doing someone on... What? Housewives had wind chimes shaped as penis. Penis? Penises. Penis. Penises with penises, and then the dangly bits were also penis. Not only this, but picture the Rio de Janeiro Christus. You know, the statue of Christ. Big, beautiful statue. They had one of those. Except, instead of just standing there, he was having sex with a goat. A goat. One of their gods, Pan. Their complex ideas about fertility and their particular gods meant that they literally had no problem with peepees, wieners, cocks. They didn't care. They did not care. And they thought they were artistic. I don't know, they put them everywhere. You should see the bathhouse frescoes. I don't think I can show them on YouTube because I feel like I'll get banned for life. But if you Google Roman bathhouse frescoes, you will see every format, every position, every combination of human/animal. They were down for that too. Bestiality. Yeah, which leads us on to the next subject of graffiti. You know how sometimes you see like a penis spray painted on a wall? That's like child's play. Is that the right word to use? That's like amateur stuff compared to the Romans. The graffiti that they did was next level. If you're graffitiing a penis on the wall, you're not new. You're not special. You are simply carrying on something that the ancients did for a very long time. When Pompeii was dug up, the first thing that was commented on was the sheer amount of lewd graffiti scrawled all over the walls. One of them reads, "Weep, you girls, my penis has given you up. Now it penetrates men's behinds. Goodbye, wondrous femininity." And that is one of the milder ones. In the tavern of Verecunundus, "Restutia, take off your tunic, please, and show us your hairy privates." My personal favorite. "I screwed the barmaid." That was it. On the wall of a street, "Theophilus, don't perform oral sex on girls against the city wall like a dog." Orphidius was here. Bye. Classic. On the house of Orpheus, "I have buggered men." Atrium of the house of Pinarius. "If anyone does not believe in Venus, they should gaze at my girlfriend." Aww, yeah. One of the whorehouses, "Atimius got me pregnant." The Lupinaire, "I screwed a lot of girls here." This graffiti is just like so typical. Like, I hope your hemorrhoids rub together so much they hurt worse than they ever have before. Honestly, it's a modern day struggle too with the old hemorrhoids. The next on the list is X-rated gravestones. In the modern day, you might have like born blah blah blah, died blah blah blah. Not in the Roman times. No. Their gravestones included like a journal of like their explicit activities throughout their lives. Roman men and women would include entire biographies of their entire lives, including their sexual experimentation on their gravestones. Romans often lived bawdy lives, so that meant that the tombstones were X-rated. For example, one is said to say, put on your party hat and don't say no to sex with pretty girls because soon you'll die. Others, with husbands and wives that have buried each other, describe their first night after their wedding and how it went on their tombstone. One famously states how the wife was seduced at the age of 7. 7. Another one is famous for graphically depicting a 3-way relationship. The next on the list was Roman literature. Today we read smutty books, 50 Shades of Grey type thing. This has nothing on Roman literature. I'm not talking about like normal, like BDSM style intercourse. No. I'm talking about messy, kinky, fetish, weird ass sex. One of the surviving novels talks about a male who has a child lover, and they navigate a world of orgies, flagellation, and dildo-wearing priestesses. Poet Juvenal routinely wrote about violent rape, animal sex, and sodomy. Let that sink in for a moment. In short, their books were very much like their lives. X-rated, obscene, and sex-obsessed. The next on the list I have spoken about before in some detail, and it is pederasty. Essentially, in the Roman times and the Greek times, pederasty was a practice that was common. An older man would take a younger boy under his wing and then have a sexual relationship with him. Obviously, as I've stated before, when we're looking at ancient cultures, their standards completely differed from ours. We hold beliefs, but they had their reality, and pederasty was completely socially acceptable. In Rome, there was not necessarily an age of consent. If you were to engage in a homosexual relationship, if you were a freeborn male, you would have to wait until the male was at least 12. But when it came to slaves, anything went. So child molestation happened extremely young. Pederasty was so much ingrained into the social ideals that if you didn't fancy young boys as a grown male, you were seen to have something a little bit wrong with you. And this ideology did not shift until Christianity became the dominating religion. This has been part 1 in the very weird lives of the Romans. If you want a part 2, please subscribe, please like, please comment below. And I can do another little video because there's a lot more to talk about, you know? Thanks for watching. Bye.